Well, this is it, guys, the last official lesson of the Master Your Money course. If you followed each step of this course, you should now be living to a realistic budget. You should have a consistent monthly surplus. You should have eliminated all the lifestyle debt, and you should have a cash reserve to cover the unexpected expenses and emergencies. The foundation for a strong financial future is in place, and it's time to start achieving some of those lifestyle goals you always imagined you would achieve. For you, that might be buying your own home, paying off your mortgage, taking the family on an overseas holiday, starting your own business, or be able to live on one income so that mum can stay home with the kids. Whatever it is, you now have the financial platform in place to make it all happen. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to use Grandma's Jars to set and achieve realistic financial goals. There are two key ways in which your budget will help you achieve the financial goals that are truly important to you. Firstly, the budget will show you what is realistic. I often sit down with a potential new client who tells me they want to save a certain amount of money by the end of the year, or that they are planning to take a trip overseas with a friend and they need to save a certain amount of money by a set date. But when we sit down and have an objective look at their budget, it quickly becomes apparent that these goals are completely unrealistic. Now, while I'm a fan of challenging goals, there is a big difference between challenging and completely unrealistic. Challenging goals motivate and inspire us to stay focused on our budget, whereas unrealistic goals leave us feeling demoralized and unmotivated. So the first thing we need to be doing is using our position summary page to identify what is truly realistic. Here on Dean and Emma's budget, we can see that they have an average monthly savings capacity of $1,374 per month, assuming that they stick to the budget. From this, we can work out that it will take them just over 5 months to grow their rainy day fund from $3,000 into a cash reserve of $10,000. Or that trip to Japan that's going to cost them $6,000, that will take them somewhere between 4 and 5 months to plan for. So the first thing your budget will do is help you set realistic goals. The second way your budget will help you set and achieve realistic goals is that it will allow you to model different scenarios so you can objectively see what is realistic and what is not. The easiest example of this is when people are looking at buying their first home. Too often I see people naively comparing their current rent with a potential mortgage payment to determine whether or not they can afford to buy a house. From my experience, I can tell you that this is a recipe for disaster. So please, if this is you, if you are looking at buying a house, make sure you consider all the costs involved. When you buy a house, the mortgage is just one additional cost. Yes, it is the biggest cost, but there are plenty of others. Things like rates, maintenance, building insurance, body corporate fees, projects you'll need to do. These all need to be added into the budget as well. In the Grandma's Jars application, there is a mock budgets feature which you can find under budget tools. This feature will allow you to model different scenarios. So if I click on mock budgets and then click on the purple add button, I can type in the name of my mock budget. So let's type in buy our house and click add budget. You will now see that there is a new bar that has showed up here called buying our house. If I click on this bar, you can see that two identical budgets appear side by side. On the right is Dean and Emma's existing budget, and on the left is the mock budget buying our house. Using the Adjust Mock Income button and the Adjust Mock Jars button, you can adjust any aspect of the budget you like, just as you can on the main budget. Now please be really careful here. Don't use this menu bar to the left. These buttons here will change your real budget, and you don't want to do that by accident. So when you are working in the mock budget, just use the Adjust Mock Income button or the Adjust Mock JAR button. Dean and Emma want to buy a house which will require a $400,000 home loan, which at 4% would equate to approximately $1,909 per month payments. The first thing we will do is go into Adjust Mock JARs. Here you can see that this page looks exactly the same as the JARs and expenses page on the main budget. We will then click on Utilities and find Dean and Emma's rent. You can see here that they are paying $450 a week in rent, or $1,955.36 per month. We will remove this and replace it with a mortgage payment of $1,909 per month. Now, I would normally add mortgage payments on the debts page. However, just to keep things really simple, I'm going to just edit the rent in this utilities jar and change it to mortgage with monthly payments of $1,909. Now, changing the rent to a mortgage won't have done a lot to change Dean and Emma's budget overall. But what we now need to do is add some of the additional costs that come with home ownership. So let's start with council rates, which on a property like the one Dean and Emma are looking at is approximately $2,100 per year, or $175 per month. So I will click on the Add button next to regular expenses. So council rates should go in the utilities jar too. So I will type in council rates. The expense cost is $2,100 per year. The next due date would be, let's just say, the 12th of June, 2018. The frequency is annual, and this payment will come from their central account. So there we've added rates to their budget. From here, Dean and Emma should go through and add home and contents insurance, household maintenance, and so on. Once they have entered these expenses, they can return to the main Buy Our House budget by clicking on the Buy Our House button here. And once back on the mock budget screen, they can see how their budget will look with all the additional cost of home ownership. Now, we have only added one expense at this stage, so there isn't a great difference between their existing budget and their mock budget. But as they add each additional expense, the cost will grow and their surplus will get smaller. And ultimately, they will have an objective understanding of what they can afford and what they can't. It would also allow them to model what life would look like for them if interest rates went up by 1 or 2%. The second most common use my clients have found for the mock budget tool is planning for starting a family. If Dean and Emma were looking at starting a family, they would be able to go into the Adjust Mock Income and adjust Emma's income to reflect any changes to her income during maternity leave and see what impact that would have on their budget. I have plenty of clients that have used this to model how long they can afford to stay at home with Bub before returning to work. It is a really powerful tool. I am constantly amazed at how many people make major life decisions without an objective measure of how that decision will impact their financial situation. Having a budget will not only help you set and achieve goals for yourself, but as we have seen on the mock budget here, it will also help you plan for and work towards important financial goals and lifestyle events. You have done an amazing job getting through this course. You now have the knowledge, the tools, and the resources you need to succeed. All that's left is to put it into action and make it all happen.